Did you really think that it was over? Welcome to Sonic Characterization Discourse, episode number 357. All jokes aside, in today's video, the Sonic fan base on Twitter is going at it again, and this is in relation to the characterization of Sonic IDW, and it's getting a little bit out of hand. As you all know, the characterization for Sonic is something that's been very inconsistent throughout the years, and there's a good reason for that. The writers of the early 2000 Sonic games are different than the writers of the 2010 games like Sonic Colors, Lost World, Generations. And even those writers are different than the writers of the current age, the 2020s, or maybe we call it the Renaissance era. I still haven't made a name for it yet. But the writing staff has changed over the years. The demands for what the tone of the game is changes over the years. And things change, alright? Things are inconsistent for a reason. And that is the cause for today's discourse. For context and backstory about Sonic IDW and the philosophy of the character in the comic books, the biggest thing about IDW Sonic is his love for freedom. He's obviously a free-spirited character who values freedom above all else and strives to live his life according to his own rules rather than the standards of those around him or for the sake of heroism. The thing about IDW Sonic is he wants everyone to have that same level of freedom that he has. He wants people to live life under their own rules so long as they do not harm others. He is unwilling to commit anything that requires him to act primarily under the authority of others, including his friends, believing that he knows what's best for himself. A big problem that people have with this characterization is that many times it'll find him at odds with his enemies but also giving them a chance to redeem themselves. And this is why some sectors of the fan base are extremely upset with the character. Even some of the most diabolical villains in the series who have proven to be a threat to everyone around them, Sonic usually gives these monologues smugly to them about how his way of life is better and that he wants to give everyone a chance, and he tries to redeem pretty much everyone. Whether it's Eggman, it's Metal Sonic, it's Surge. People think that these moments where he tries to make peace with his enemies is out of character. So that's the main thing that people don't like. This is just me educating you guys on what people are saying. So now, without further ado, I bring you to the Twitter discourse. So this user on Twitter right here, Pixel Rush, created an animation that pokes fun at IDW's characterization and compares it to how he thinks Sonic IDW's characterization would play out in Sonic and the Black Knight. So let's watch the animation.
I know we got off on the wrong foot, but I think if we really get to know each other, we could be friends. You don't have to be the bad guy. You have the freedom to do the right thing, to make a difference. I've made peace with enough enemies to know that you can be more than this. I'm giving you this choice. Choice to make your
He's just sitting there. Oh my, this is a pretty good animation though.
self, no one else.
Is he dead? Oh, he stabbed him. Oh my god.
Look.
So here's the thing about the animation though. I mean, it does, like, I know he's trying to poke fun at it and he's trying to meme on it, but like, I kind of see what he means, like, when he makes this animation. It's a very similar contrast to the panel with Sonic versus Surge, which is kind of the panel that everyone talks about when they talk about this discourse. So here's the big panel that people talk about when they discuss what they like or dislike about Sonic IDW. So it's after he fights Surge, who was created by Dr. Starline, who's obviously gone through a very traumatic past. Sonic says, I don't know your full story, so I can't really judge, but I can't let you hurt anyone. She says, so end it. He says, nope, I'd rather give you a chance to rebound. She said, you can't be this naive. He says, I like to keep it simple. And then this is the monologue that changed it all. Not really, but this is the monologue that pisses people off. He said, I live for the moment. I want to see the world, find all of its thrills and adventures and enjoy them. I want everyone to have the freedom to do that too. And you wouldn't get the opportunity if I took that chance away from you. I've made peace with enough enemies to know that there is a better way. So I'm willing to chalk this up to a rocky start and let us have a do-over, if you will. In a way, he's not wrong. He's made peace with enemies like Shadow. He's obviously made peace with Knuckles. He's made peace with Silver the Hedgehog, who has several times tried to kill him as well. He's made peace with Blaze the Cat before. And how many times have we teamed up with Dr. Eggman in Sonic games? That said, it's not necessarily wrong that Sonic has made peace with his enemies. But sometimes it's to his detriment, like when he let Mr. Tinker go, who is Dr. Eggman, but had amnesia that he was Dr. Eggman. Despite the warnings from others like Shadow the Hedgehog, this is what in turn led to the Metal Virus. So it feels like indirectly Sonic making these decisions to make peace with his enemies and make sure that everybody has their freedom has its consequences. So a lot of people on Twitter, in response to this video that came out, were quick to point out this scene from Sonic and the Black Knight.
Merlina, every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have. At least, that's what I figure.
Grandfather.
So the issue that people have with the meme video is that the creator is criticizing IDW Sonic for creating peace with his enemies while using Black Knight as an example, which, you know, typically a lot of people would say that this is their favorite characterization for Sonic. But the problem is they think that he fails to realize that he kind of does the same thing in this game. This person says, I get that it's a joke, but not gonna lie, it's kind of ironic to do. It's stupid / out of character if a story has Sonic try to reach out to his enemies and give them the opportunity to change for the better, with the game that famously ended with Sonic doing exactly that. This person points out a couple of panels from IDW, like Sonic and Knuckles fighting Rough and Tumble, also fighting Neo Metal Sonic and the Deadly Six, and says, y'all keep acting like Sonic doesn't jump straight into fights in IDW. This person says, let's just ignore the fact that he literally gives a speech to Merlina about this exact thing in the end of Black Knight. Also, it seems like people purposely ignore all the context as to why Sonic even says stuff like this to a few IDW villains in the first place. This person says, me when I try to compare two different scenes that have nothing in common. This person's a little bit more lighthearted, and they said, I mean, this is completely inaccurate to a situation right now with the comics, but not gonna lie, this made me chuckle. It's crazy how Sonic fans just despise anything that's not their hyper-specific headcanon of Sonic, and then at the same time ignoring the same flaws in the thing that they say is the real Sonic. I did not laugh. In fact, I didn't even smirk. People are running out of things to joke about, and it shows. This person says, chat, they didn't get past the first credits in Black Knight, once again referencing the scene with Sonic and Merlina. So, you know, it's just a normal day on Sonic Twitter where people are arguing about Sonic's characterization. So the creator of the video actually responded to the situation. You know, it's kind of fun to analyze the discourse. I like the conversation that it brings. He said, if I could be a little petty for a moment, no, this is not what Sonic did with Merlina. Merlina was outwardly sympathetic from the start, and Sonic made no attempt to talk her down, only hear her out. There is a difference. He's even the one who attacks her first.
Not understand?
No, and I don't want to.
It was never about chivalry for me. I just gotta do what I've gotta do. That's all.
The only attempts to reach out to her is after she's already been beaten, and even then, there's no air of superiority or moral grandstanding. He just offers his perspective. That's why that's what I figure is a great line. It's not some profound philosophy, it's just Sonic's nature. This person says, compare this to issue number 50, so, you know, the big panel where Sonic is standing high, smugly looking down on Surge, only to react with visible contempt when she refuses to accept his little speech. He never gave Surge a choice. It was never about freedom. He gave her an ultimatum, then decided she chose wrong. So you can obviously see there are two warring factions with each other within the Sonic fan base. As always, there's people that do not like the characterization of Sonic IDW. Some people think that the speeches that he gives his enemies in IDW are a bit pacifistic, or he has this like moral high ground over his competitors. Some people think that he's very preachy towards his enemies. So what do you guys think about the discourse of IDW Sonic? My personal opinion, although I haven't interjected much of it in this video, is I'll just say that I think the execution of the Black Knight scene is better, but that's really beside the point. As far as the characterization war goes, where do you stand? Are you on Team IDW or Team Black Knight, or what is your current take on Sonic's characterization?